Tom Holmes, and I'd just like to, for a few minutes, touch on the pocket watch. Now, the pocket watch has been superseded by the wristwatch, today probably by the cell phone. But in fact, the pocket watch lasted for some 600 years. It goes back to the 16th century. That is a whole study in itself. I mean, the mechanism of that watch, it's quite incredible. Now, the early pocket watch only had the hour hand, and I think it was more than a century before that was developed further. The watch itself became part of the gentleman's wardrobe, I say, for these 4 centuries. And it was, that was extraordinary. I can remember both grandfathers sported. Well, my paternal grandfather, he was quite Edwardian in his mode of dress, but the pocket watch was very important to him. It looked good if you look at the Victorian period, and the pocket watch around the chain was always apparent, and the waistcoat was always, that was essential. Now, there were two types. You had the ladies' pocket watch. Well, no, it wasn't. It was worn on a chain round the neck. The watch was always displayed, and of course it has become an heirloom. I think it was a status symbol in many ways. I've seen one that was solid gold. Up to the advent of in fashion of the jeans, which is our time, the pocket watch was still a big consideration. The jeans have a triangular little pocket, and that was intended for the pocket watch. And it's extraordinary that it lasted all this time, those centuries. Of course, now the wristwatch is so much easier, more practical, but it's not something that you just put in a battery. Well, you have to wind the watch because that was the only way. It had a spring. It had, by winding it, it tightened the spring, which was activated then by movement. But my goodness, can you imagine in the early years having a key, having to wind, having to make adjustments? It must have been a nightmare. Now, as I say, it's been superseded. It's a thing of the past. It's an heirloom. And when you learn the history, some extraordinary stories. These watches today are very important to many families, to children. Well, this was your father's, or this was your grandfather's, and his father before him, and so forth. It's a connection with a wider and longer line.